Okay, let's go ahead and move in. I want to talk about crunches. It's an exercise that gets asked a lot, and I'm a big vocal person about not really doing crunches. And if you are going to do them, I have a way that I'm going to show you that I want you to do them. So if you're in a workout class somewhere, or you're doing a video online or whatever it might be, and they're teaching you crunches, you can just instantly take your body where you know it should go. And that's one thing that I challenge you to do. So even if, again, workout class, watching something online, take this concept of the more fascial, deep core, the better proper breathing techniques, and you can follow along with what they're teaching and doing that exercise, but you can make it even better for your body. Okay, so if you're watching the video, I'm gonna move on down to the floor. Otherwise, you can just listen through these cueing, and then the next time you go to do some of these exercises, it can be very helpful because you've brought awareness to, oh, what's going on with your pelvic floor and your pelvis and neck. And if you're feeling any of those pains and pressure in funky places, then those are signs that we need to adjust either that exercise, change the way we're breathing, and doing more exercises that are modified. And remember, modified doesn't mean it's easier. Right? For so many, it can mean that it's way, way more effective. Okay, so let's dive into these crunches, right? So we're gonna roll onto the back, or actually, my preferred way to have you lay on your back is you want to zip up the belly, kind of start on your side, and then roll to your back. This is a safer way if we're dealing with any sort of diastasis or anything like that. So feet are out, right? When we do traditional crunches, we kind of think like hands behind, maybe your legs are up, and we're rounding and jamming our back. I almost have a hard time doing these inappropriate. I haven't done these so long. I don't do crunches, honestly, myself very, very often. And if I do, I will show you how I do them here in a minute. So with your feet down, and when we jam our back, and I know it's taught a lot, to really push your back down into the ground, draw belly to spine, but then when you're there, what do you feel working? You may feel pain in your back. I know many people do. You can't really activate your pelvic floor very well, and you feel stress in your neck, most likely. So I want you to do, if you're watching this, you can do a couple of the incorrect ones, or if you're listening, that's great. Thinking about, okay, traditionally, right, jamming your back, we want to avoid that. So you want to find a little bit more of a neutral-ish position, pretend like you're holding like a water glass on your pelvis. Then from there, I start with hands at your sides so we don't stress in the neck. And you want to think about breathing wide to your sides. Exhale, lightly zip up from the pelvic floor all the way through the top of the head and wrap those ribs. I know the wrapping of the ribs can be challenging. It's just something to be aware of and to work on. Because when we flex up, the movement should really come from the abs, or from the rib cage, because that's where the abs knit into the ribs. And all this fascia is all intertwined through here, okay? So we focus on the ribs to bring our head up, then we don't tense in the neck. And again, this is breaking old habits for many, but being aware of it is the first step. So when we inhale, breathe wide, exhale, zip up from the pelvic floor, and then arms at your side, tuck your chin lightly, exhale, use your ribs to slide you up. And try to do that without moving your pelvis. So if you're listening to this audio, at some point come watch the video so you can see this, and you're going to feel the difference. It's probably initially harder on your core because you're not used to trying to stabilize here. But you'll feel a lot deeper through your lower abs. You can feel the light connection through the pelvic floor. Notice I say light. We don't want to overstress the pelvic floor when we're doing anything, okay? And then it's the ribs that are holding you up. The ribs are like gliding down and together, kind of knitting this way. And then we don't have so much stress in our neck. And then we lower down, right? You can do that with your legs in somewhat of a tabletop position as well, but don't let your back come down. So these are gauges for if you come up with your legs tabletop and you can't hold this, or it's too much on your neck, or it's pain somewhere, then it's a good indication that your body is not ready for that exercise yet. Okay, so if you're gonna do any crunches, do them in this more neutral position. Zip up, pelvic floor, low belly, wrap the ribs, come up. Okay, then lower down, flex on up if that's okay for you, or roll to your side. So the one thing I find, and the biggest thing I want to emphasize with the crunch type exercises is, again, if you're going to do them in a way so you're not jamming your back into the floor, because that's shutting off your deep core. And we don't want that to happen because it's putting pressure in the wrong places and it's not strengthening the right stuff. okay? And so when you're doing those, just think about, oh, what am I feeling in my body? So we don't want to feel pain. And keep in mind, crunches are not an easy exercise, and it is something, I teach it in my core rehab program, but it's not till the end, because there's so many other exercises that are way, way, way more effective for your abs and for your deep core. So crunches are one of those that I'm like, if you really, really feel the need to do them, or you're in a workout class and they're doing crunches, you can just instantly modify them by putting your pelvis and breath and core activation, doing it in the way that I just taught you right there, or again, better yet, going through the whole core rehab sequence, and then you'll really understand when your body's ready for them, because there's so much fundamental work that needs to be done in order to actually get to where we need our bodies to be for optimal core function. And it takes time, and even if you feel like you're super, super strong and super athletic, I actually find that it's even more effective sometimes when you really take a step back, work on the fundamentals, and build up back to where you're at, and then you're going to feel even stronger. And all the exercises and core work that you're doing today will be even better and more effective down the road once we break it back down.